Welcome to Elevated, a place where the mystical meets the everyday. I am Dawn, a stay-at-home mom to a wild and spirited boy, and a guide in the realms of Reiki, Akashic Records, natural healing, and soulful living. Here, we'll talk energy, intuition, spirituality, but also the realness of motherhood, wellness, and creating balance in the chaos of it all. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and join me as we explore healing, alignment, and the beauty of both the magical and the messy. Welcome to Elevated. Welcome, beautiful souls. How are you doing today? I'm Dawn. I'm doing well. I'm your host of Elevated. Not too much has been going on this week, to be honest with you. I've done an Akashic Records read. I have another one that I have to get to. I had such a blast reading for this client because I'm in Earth Mystery School and I needed 3 clients for my practicum, and she's going to be one of them. I'm super excited. I think it's going to be so much fun. In Earth Mystery School, we learn about your birth chart and how to read it a little bit according to the Akashic Records and what that would bring up. We learn about ancestral healing. We learn about soul contracts. We learn more about karma. Akashic Records in general is just about karma and how we can help ourselves. It was amazing to get a read for this lady. What I do is I make a nice little ebook and then I'll record what I found and I'll go through the teachings and stuff. And then today I was taking another chapter of our Earth Mystery School program, and in there we're learning about like clairvoyance and clairseeing and clairaudience. And one of them is you're talking and it just channels through you. And I was like, that's me. It just channels through. I don't even know what I'm saying and stuff just coming out, just spewing out. And then I go and I listen to it when I'm done recording. And I was like, really? That's what I said? And then I'm so hard on myself because I say so a lot, like a lot, write a lot. And I pull those out quite a bit in all of my editing. And I go, I wonder if that's why people don't enjoy talking to me. Is that why? I don't know. I was a kid of the 80s and it was cool back then to be a valley girl in a way, to say, like. And I got in the habit, and I guess even now at 44, I haven't stopped. Something I got to work on, definitely. And I do know when I listen to the podcast, The Mum Room, she says literally, she's like, literally. And then I'll do that. And my husband will be like, what are you doing? Why do you say it like that? I don't know, but I know why. So it's funny. I do pick up on things like that. I tend to pick up on random things that people will say like that, and then I just adapt it very quickly to how I talk. I don't know why I do it. I just do it. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I was just really excited to get back into the Akashic Records. It was so much fun just to be able to go in, read the past lives. And what I love is when I do an Akashic Records read and I'm working with the past lives, I always get 2 to 3 different past lives, and I will actually work on both of those that I get. Say it's 2 lives, I will work on both. And I feel like you need both of those to make the whole story. Like, yes, we can have one past life and we can learn a lot from that. But because it's karmic and what we learn in one past life and what we have lessons with and maybe what we didn't learn, we're going to carry forth into the next life. And it's all intertwined, the 2 lives that I seem to be getting anyways whenever I do Akashic Records reads. I don't know how other practitioners do it and have it. I know when I got mine, I only got 1 past life, but when I do mine, I do 2 past lives. And I just feel like it gives you a fuller picture. It helps you to understand. It helps you to see. It helps you to be like, oh, in this life, I was like this, but in this life, I see where I was. Maybe you're a male in one life, female in the other life, and you can see how you being a male in this life, you acted this way. And then in the next life, you were the female, and you almost had that role reverse of like how you were as a male then was how you got treated by the male in your next life. So you can see that karmic concept there, and then you can see as well as how it plays out. I just feel like you need the 2 lives to get the full picture anyways. I love it so much. It's just, I don't even know how to describe the Akashic Records. Like, there's so much information in them. There's so much to learn. There's so much that you can see about yourself. And even today, I was sitting driving into the city and I'm like, why am I not doing the Akashic Records for elevated soul healing? And why am I not doing it for my husband's electrical business? Why am I not clearing our Akashics? Because you can actually clear the company's Akashic Records. And it's just these things that I don't think about because I just get busy in the mom role and the wife role that I forget about these little things. So I got to jot that down so that I will actually sit down and clear our Akashics and, in those Akashics, put in what our intentions are. Like, what are our intentions for his electrical business? What are my intentions for my company as well? Put those in there, clear it, make sure the energy's all good, maybe do like a property clearing on them as well. Make sure that's all good so that we don't have like bad mojo and all of that. Because it can come up at any point in time. You can grab bad energy from anyone, right? So I was like, okay, I got to do that. That's on my list of things that I need to do. And just find ways every day to just be in the Akashics. I just love it so, so much. And like I said, I don't know if you saw my one post, but last week, Ty as well, like I asked him, I was like, can I go in your Akashic Records? And he's like, yeah. And then he goes to my husband, he's like, Dad, Mom's going to go to my Akashic Records and read them. And it's just so cool to be able to raise my son knowing what the Akashic Records are and not having to be later in life learning what they are. And it's just the way that our world is right now. We're so much more open in that kind of stuff, or to know what Reiki is. When I was growing up, we didn't know that kind of information, and it was hard to find that information. Yes, you had to either go to a library. Yes, you had to go to a bookstore and maybe stumble upon that and be like, oh, what is this? This is kind of interesting, because people weren't talking about it. And now it's so open and it's just there, and it's becoming second nature to have these conversations with people. And I absolutely love it so much. And to be in the Akashic Records, like I said, like you can do businesses, but you can also do animals. So you can do Reiki on animals and you can do Akashic Records on animals. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the animals who walk beside us, who guide us, who protect us, who challenge us, who love us. And trust me, we have 4 dogs. We have some that are challenging us all the time, and we have some that are just deeply here to love us, often more purely than we ever expected. We are going to explore animal Reiki and animal Akashic Records. What are they, how they work, and how animals themselves experience this kind of energetic support. This is not about fixing the animal. It's about listening to the animal. It's about partnership with the animal. It's about honoring animals as sovereign, silent beings with wisdom, soul history, and choice as well. You don't need to be a Reiki master or an Akashic Records practitioner to receive something from this episode. If you are an animal guardian, if you are a healer, a curious soul, or someone who just knows deep down that animals are more than we've been taught, they are our teachers, then you're in the right place. Before we begin, let's set an intention. And I don't usually do this, but I think it would be kind of fun. I'm going to really start working the next little bit with intentions because I have a habit of not working with intentions. And I really do think that setting intentions help a lot. And it just makes things a lot better and a lot clearer. The intention today is I call in clarity, compassion, and respect for all animals, past, present, and future. May this information serve the highest good with consent, humility, and love. So animals are not lesser beings. They are not here just to serve us humans. They are souls having an experience, often with incredible purpose. I always thought that they were souls that just came here with these pure, genuine, loving hearts, and that they are having a massive purpose in our lives. Across cultures, animals have always been recognized as messengers, guardians, ancestors, healers, guides between the worlds. Many animals incarnate with very specific soul agreements. Some come to support human emotional healing. Some act as protectors of land or lineage. Some carry ancestral trauma for families. Some assist with transitions, birth, death, grief, awakening. I have one that came in for grief, definitely for grief. When we approach animal Reiki or animal Akashic Records, we must first release the idea we know better than the animal. I honestly believe that the animal knows better than us because I believe that their souls are so pure and innocent. Animals understand energy, animals live in the presence, and animals respond to truth. They don't need convincing, only permission. Animal Reiki is the practice of offering universal life force energy to animals in a way that honors their autonomy, their boundaries, and their natural wisdom. Just like traditional human Reiki, animal Reiki is non-invasive, often hands-off, consent-based, and intuitively guided. Animals choose how they receive the Reiki. They choose for how long they want the Reiki session to be, and they choose if they receive it at all. So basically, the core principles of animal Reiki is consent is everything. Consent can be energetic, it can be behavioral, it can be emotional, or it can be intuitive. Animals lead the session. They may move closer, they may move further away, they may fall asleep, they may leave, or they may return. It is non-forcing, fixing, or controlling. So Reiki supports balance. It does not override the animal soul path and presence over performance. Before a Reiki practitioner would perform Reiki on an animal, they're going to need to ground themselves. They're going to need to sit or stand comfortably, whatever works for them. They're going to need to take several slow breaths. They're going to release their expectations. They're going to release the timelines. They're going to release any outcomes, which is what we do a lot with human Reiki as well. We're going to ask for permission. So we can ask either out loud or silently, depending if they're doing an in-person animal Reiki, they can ask out loud. Even if they're doing distance, they can ask out loud, or they can ask silently, whatever they prefer. If it's distance, they're going to get into the animal's energetic field and they're going to say, I offer Reiki to you. You may receive it in any way that feels safe and supportive to you. You may stop it at any time. And then obviously if the animal's there, they're going to say the same thing. They're going to watch the animal. So if the animal's present, they're going to watch the animal. Otherwise, it's going to have to be done intuitively. You can do distance Reiki. It doesn't matter that you don't have to have the animal right there with you. You can do it distantly. I've done quite a few sessions on animals distantly. Signs of consent may include approaching you, lying down nearby, soft eyes, yawning, sighing, relaxed posture. Again, if it's distance, you're going to have to do it intuitively. If it's an in-person session, signs of no consent may include like turning away, leaving the space, agitation, avoidance. If it's distance, again, that is going to have to be intuitive. All responses are valid. And then you're going to begin the energy flow. So the Reiki practitioner is going to allow Reiki to flow through them into the animal. And the Reiki practitioner may sit quietly, offer hands near, not on the animal, send Reiki from a distance. I prefer to do animal Reiki distantly because it seems that the animals like it better when it's distance. I've tried to do Reiki with my dogs and put my hands on them, and it just seems to bother them. But if I could do it distantly, even in the same house, I just remove myself, go to a different room, they tend to handle it better. So the animals do tend to prefer to have space in between the healing and not to be physically touched or that close. We always have to follow the animal's lead. And again, distantly, it's all done intuitively. So animals may move into the energy. They may place a specific body part near you. They may fall asleep. They may release emotion. They may walk away and return. We, as practitioners, have to trust this process. And then to close the session, we're going to thank the animal. We're going to ground ourselves. We're going to drink some water. Drinking water after any session is very grounding, whether if you are a client or if you are a practitioner. And never assume the session is over until the animal disengages. So again, we are going to have to use our intuition if we do not have the animal physically near us. Animal Reiki supports physical well-being, which could be pain relief, injury recovery, chronic illness support, and post-surgical healing. We have a cat. His name's Jeremy. He's from the Humane Society. I don't know about this cat. Sometimes I think he likes me. Sometimes I think he hates me. He's just very independent, we'll say that. He's an outdoor cat too. He lives in our garage. And I don't know, was it 6, 7 years ago? But we live on an acreage. And so my husband went to go start the tractor, and he had the lawnmower that was attached to the tractor. It's a big, big tractor. And he had it down, and the cat, for whatever reason, went under the lawnmower. He never ever went under the lawnmower. So my husband didn't lift up the lawnmower to start it. He just had it down and started it because I think he was going to start mowing right from there. So he starts the tractor, starts the mower. Next thing you know, that cat literally shoots out from underneath the mower. And I come running out. At this point in time, our septic alarm is going off. And I'm like, Tim, our septic's going off. And he looks at me, he's like, I just killed a cat. I'm like, no, he's running away. He's like, no, he was under the lawnmower. Go check him. So my husband goes into the house to deal with the alarm. I go get our cat from our walkout. And it turns out that the mower picked his collar off. Like, we have never found his collar ever since then. And when I got to him, his face looked just beat up. He had some fur missing from him, but he was bleeding from his mouth. It's Sunday of the long weekend. So Tim had been doing work for a veterinarian. He calls her. He's like, look, this is what happened. Like, can we bring in our cat to get looked at? She's like, yeah, I'll meet you in the city. No big deal. So we go get into the city, take him in, and they looked at him. They're like, okay, his jaw looks a little bit bad. His tooth looks really bad. They sedate him for a little bit. They keep him for a few hours. Then she called us and she's like, no one's going to be here to watch him. So you might as well take him home and see how he does overnight. And we can discuss care in the morning if we need to. And we're like, okay, sounds good. And so we go, we get him, we bring him home. And now he's a garage cat. Like, he does not come in the house. And we have our laundry room. We shut the door and I stay in there with him for the night. And I put on binaural beats and I'm sitting there raking this cat, just constantly raking him. He was in the house for 2 days. By the third day, he was ready to go outside. His jaw looked okay. His teeth looked okay. He's never had a problem with his teeth ever since. And when we took him in, it literally looked like his jaw was broken and that he was going to have some teeth problems. No problems whatsoever. While I was raking him, you could tell that he was taking in the energy. You could tell that he was getting healed from it. You could tell he wanted the energy and the healing from it. It was the craziest thing. And I was really new to Reiki at the time. Maybe had my level 1, level 2, because I can't exactly remember the time frame of when it happened, but I would have been level 1, level 2 at the time. And he absorbed that energy. And he, to this day, does not look like anything ever happened to him. He can eat perfectly fine. He looks perfectly fine. Like, you would not know that this cat almost lost his life underneath the mower. So Reiki can help with that. Reiki can help with emotional and behavioral balance. So anxiety, trauma, aggression rooted in fear, grief after loss. Reiki can also support energetic and spiritual support, transitioning animals, rescue animals, animals with past trauma, end of life comfort. I also helped my friend's cat for end of life comfort as well. She had asked me to do Reiki on her cat. It was a farm cat. And it was like 18 or 19 years old. And she asked me to help near the end of her cat's life. And I did. I worked with the cat, not so much to cure the cat, because Reiki will never cure you of anything that you have, but it definitely will help you with peace and calm and balance. I did work with the cat, and I would go in and the cat and I would communicate. We would talk, and I helped the cat know that it was okay. It would be okay, and that she was being supported and loved in this time frame. Not that her owners didn't support her and love her, because the owners definitely did, but just letting her know that it was okay, and to help her transfer, or to help her end of life for her, and to give her comfort as well, because she did have some kidney issues at that time. So to help alleviate the pain for her. Now, let's get into Akashic Records for animals, because this is something interesting. So the Akashic Records are the energetic archive of every soul's journey, so past, present, and potential future. Animals have Akashic Records. Animals have soul history. Animals have purpose beyond the physical. Animal Akashic Records allow us to understand why the animal came to you, soul agreements between the animal and the human, past life trauma or gifts, emotional or behavioral patterns, end of life wishes. This work is deeply sacred. How would I, as an Akashic Records reader, access the animal Akashic Records? Yes, we have to ask permission. It doesn't matter what energy work we're doing, we always have to ask for permission from any client that we are working with. So always ask both the animal and the records, which is true. Even when we are doing human records, we have to ask the human and the records if we have permission. It could be something as like, may I access your Akashic Records for your highest good? If permission is not granted, we have to stop. We can't go any further in that. Same thing with humans. We just can't. So we open the records, however it is that you have been trained to open the records. So I will go in, I will open up the animal records. It could be, I don't know if we wanted to say like a prayer, invocation, whatever method we have, doesn't matter. We ask conscious questions. For example, the questions could be, what is the animal here to teach us? What support does this animal need right now? What does the animal want their human to understand? What are the unresolved past life experiences influencing behavior? So, if you have that dog that's like really, and I say dog, could be cat, but I say dog because we have 4 dogs and they are just like humans. They all have different personalities. We have one that is so needy, pushy, fearful when we leave. Like the separation anxiety is real for this dog. Unless there's literally birds outside our walkout window, then she could pretty much forget completely about us. But otherwise, she's panicking, like she's jumping at the door. She has wrecked the wall from jumping and sliding her paw down the wall. And this has just happened in the last 8 months. She's gotten really bad, but she's always sort of had some separation anxiety. So again, the unresolved past life experiences that are influencing this behavior, like obviously something is up because we haven't changed anything in our house to cause this. So what's causing this, right? And she's always had bad separation anxiety. The information that we receive can come in a number of different ways. Again, it's just being intuitive with the information. So it could be images, it could be feelings, it could be words, it could be knowing, it could be emotions. As Akashic Records readers, we don't really embellish on the information we get. We record a lot of what we get. And it's a lot of just recording the information. Yes, we use our intuition, but we don't fully embellish. And then we don't project anything either as Akashic Records readers. Again, it's literally just gathering the information as if we were writing a detailed record report. And then we would close the records after we get all the information that we want, and we would have gratitude for it. What are the benefits of animal Akashic Records? Why would we read their records? Well, the Animal Akashic Records offers deep understanding of behavior. And that goes for humans too. Healing of soul level trauma. Same thing as with humans. Stronger human animal bonds. I could see that because now you're understanding your animal no different than a human. If you could understand where you're coming from and love your past stories and hurts, you would have more empathy for yourself, which would definitely strengthen your bond with yourself. Closure during transitions, validation of intuitive feelings for the animals for you as well. Because I think as human owners too, we sometimes do get very intuitive feelings about these animals. Often humans will heal through their animals. So I know for myself, I go and I let out 3 dogs. They're at the same house. I love these dogs, but again, very different personalities. One is a foster dog. 2 have been there and I don't know their history. I don't know if they were all rescue dogs or not. But there is one that is, again, a little bit more nervous, chews everything, barks when we get there. It's taken over a year for her to be very calm with my son, where she'll go up to him now. Before, she was deathly afraid of him, would always stay away from him, definitely barks at him to try and keep him away, right? Like she's like, stay your distance, don't come near me. And then the other one is just so chill and so calm and never barks, never says anything. My son can go up to her and hug her and she's fine with it. Like she gives the eyes like, really, is this happening? But very calm, very patient. And again, you'd never know the stories with them. And the foster dog, she wouldn't go in a kennel. And she's only 6 months old. In my mind, I'm thinking, was she fully kenneled all the time? Was she part of a puppy mill? Like, where did she come to be fostered? Was she beat? Was she, always left in a kennel? Because you don't know that. She's good now. They've definitely done a lot of work with her. They've got her in the kennel. You say kennel, she'll go in and then you give her a treat and it works really, really good. She's so good now. But she is biting and chewing everything. She had her spay surgery and they had a plastic cone on her head, like you always typically get. That got destroyed. She had on the bodysuit. Those bodysuits are not cheap. She destroyed the bodysuit while it was on her. Like, I am not lying. They texted me yesterday and they're like, I don't know if you've been to the house or not to let the dogs out, but if you haven't, on the camera, it looks like Dottie is the dog's name, has destroyed her suit and her cone that she had on. Can you please take it off? And can you take all the parts out of her kennel? She bit off every one of those snaps and chewed them down to basically nothing. Her suit was ripped in half. Most of it was eaten by this point in time. It was just hanging off of her collar. She had a blow-up cone. I've never seen them before, but it literally looked like a tire around her neck, popped, wrecked. I was like, how did you do that in your kennel? Like, how can you move your body in that way to be able to do that? It was the craziest thing. But she has probably not a great past history, and it's coming out in these sort of as quote unquote misbehaviors, but really it's not. She just has some trauma that she needs to work through. How do animals actually react to Reiki and Akashic Records work? Animals may respond with deep relaxation, emotional release, playfulness, temporary fatigue, behavioral shifts. Some animals change independently, some integrate slowly, some show subtle shifts that deepen over time. Animals always know. And it's no different than with a human. If you're doing, Reiki on a human, or if you're doing Akashic Records work on a human, it's the same thing. They may be deeply relaxed. They may have an emotional release. They may become a little bit more energetic afterwards. They may have temporary fatigue. I know I've gone to some Reiki sessions and come home and been out like that night. I'm just wiped right out. I have the best sleep I've ever had. I come home, I can't even make supper, and I'm laying on the couch before kids, and I would like lay on the couch and I would fall asleep at 6 o'clock because it was a massive release of stuff that happened. Behavioral shifts. I know I've come home from Reiki sessions and I've gotten super angry. Maybe not that night, but like the next day, I just got super angry because I had to release what needed to come out. How an animal reacts to it and how a human reacts to it is no different, I feel. Some examples of how Reiki and Akashic Records could work with the animals is if you have an anxious dog, like an anxious rescue dog, who has experienced abandonment, say, showed the constant anxiety, like pacing and whining and a destructive behavior when they're left alone. If you're doing Reiki on this dog, the dog may initially not want to be near you. They may want to be across the room. They may be in a totally different room. They might be watching you kind of quietly, kind of like, what's going on? Like they're looking at you. Maybe they're laying down looking at you. It may take several sessions, but if you start working with them, maybe the next time you go, the dog's a little bit closer to you. And eventually, the dog is going to be beside you, laying down and just sleeping deeply while you do Reiki. What happens if you're constantly doing Reiki on the dog and you're constantly giving that Reiki support is the dog separation anxiety, it's going to soften. The pacing's going to reduce significantly. The dog's going to begin seeking comfort instead of the self-soothing through destruction. Reiki will just help the animal's nervous system to feel safe enough to reset. And there's a lot of things that dogs do that we kind of just don't even think. We're just like, oh, that's a weird behavior. A dog constantly licking, that's them trying to soothe their nervous system. And again, by providing that Reiki for them, it's going to help them actually soothe their nervous system to feel safe so that they can rest, so that they're not constantly licking. You can do Akashics on any animal, large animals, small animals, livestock, house animals. Say you have this horse that's been labeled as stubborn and it's resisting being ridden. It's showing unpredictable behavior. I mean, I shouldn't say typical, but you'll hear in the horse community that does happen. You could go in through the animal Akashic records and maybe in the records you find out that there's maybe say like a past life memory of being overworked or injured, which depending on the horse, maybe it was an equestrian horse in a past life. This life it chose to be a quarter horse to do farm work maybe, but maybe say it was an equestrian horse. I don't know much about equestrian horses, bear with me, but maybe being injured in the jumping aspect. Maybe you went to go jump and it knocked down the bar and somehow it pulled a muscle or something and it got super injured. Or even if you think about maybe a racehorse, they're running so fast. I'm just trying to think of Heartland because I watch Heartland quite a bit. And I know they'll show sometimes a horse running super fast and then they'll pull something and hurt themselves really, really bad. And they're almost thinking that they have to put this animal down. What happened if that's what happened to this horse that they, were running and they injured themselves super bad? So instead of allowing the horse to heal or giving the horse time to heal or finding it a proper place to go, maybe they put the horse down right then and there. So there could be a message from the records as simple as slow down and allow choice. This stubborn horse. So it's not that the horse is being stubborn. It's just the records itself is telling this horse, no, you need to slow down. You need to allow the choice. You need to make sure that you're doing what you truly want to do so that you don't go through this past life situation again. After adjusting maybe training methods with this horse, usually I would say if you're doing an Akashic Records read on an animal, you should be following up with Reiki or vice versa. I think that they go hand in hand. Maybe then you would provide a Reiki session. You would hopefully then see that the resistance is going to decrease because now the animal is feeling safe. The trust is going to increase because with horses, trust is huge. Maybe the horse will become more willing to engage and eventually the shift is going to occur when the animal has felt heard. And I could see that with a stubborn horse, definitely. I mean, we had horses for a while, and I think that's one of the biggest things, especially with horses, is they just want to be heard. Or with any animal, they still want to be heard. Like they're smart beings. They're these innocent, purely hearted animals that are coming here. They want to be heard. They have stories and they have past lives that we need to work on as well with them. Animals can exhibit illness after, say, a family loss. And what could happen if you go into the Akashic Records, it's probably going to be revealed that the animal has taken on some sort of emotional grief of their human that's dealing with this grief as part of the soul agreement. With Reiki, we could do an intentional emotional release for the animals. If we can go in and do the Akashic Records reading, find out that yes, there's this soul agreement that this animal is taking on the grief of this human, we then could go in, release that, and use Reiki as well to help with the emotional release. So now you're going to see that the physical symptoms of that animal and their illness is decreased. The human's grief processing might deepen. Maybe they're going to have to go through it a little bit more, or maybe they understand that the grief better and they're able to work through it a lot better at this point. And the bond, though, that you're going to see between that human and the animal, it's going to strengthen as well. So animals can act as emotional anchors for humans. There is animals that could be end-of-life companions. During an end-of-life, Reiki sessions on the elderly animal or whatever animals having the end of life, it doesn't have to be an elderly one, have shown such profound calm in resting peacefully while the energy is being flowed into them. So while the Reiki energy is going into the animal, you're going to see that the animal itself is going to be resting peacefully. You can go in the Akashic Records and reveal that the animal soul is complete and ready. Like it's ready to leave this world. Giving the animal Reiki at the end of life isn't going to delay the passing, but it's going to give the animal support and comfort and dignity through that transition. And you may find then that the animal that received the Reiki session, that they've passed peacefully shortly after, but they're going to be surrounded by this calm energy and love. I had a dog. She was such a great dog. She was our first big outdoor dog because we were moving out to the country and we had this little Chihuahua Boston. What do I mean? We still have this little Boston Chihuahua and we bought the big dog. We're like, yeah, we're going to get a big yard dog. We're moving out to the country. We need a big yard dog. And she was a Great Pyrenees and we had her for 9 years, I believe she was 9, maybe 10. Her name was Griffin, the sweetest dog. Oh my gosh, she had the eyes of an old lady, just this old soul, and she was just calm and chill for the most part until she saw a deer. There was a day where my son and I was looking out his window and my dog was sitting outside. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I have to go outside and I have to bring Griffin in because she is going to pass away. This dog is like 100 pounds. And I'm trying to bring this massive dog into the garage. And it's cold and it's miserable and it's blowing snow because we live in the middle of Saskatchewan on a hill with nothing around us. I finally get the dog in and we have a blanket and she's laying on the blanket and I cover her up with the blanket and I'm giving Griffin Reiki at this point in time and just helping her, petting her, loving on her. My husband was thinking on his way to work, he's like, I'm going to call the vet and we're going to have to get her into the vet because we knew it was her time. And so I had gone out and I sat with her again, gave her a little bit of Reiki. And as I was doing my morning routine on the couch and whatnot, I was able to give her some Reiki as well. And then I went back out and I was like, if she's going to pass, I might as well bring her in the house and she might as well pass with us instead of alone out in the garage. So I'm going to haul this like 100-pound dog up a couple of stairs and bring her in. And by the time I went back out, she was behind the truck at this point, right up against the garage door, and she was gone. And she had taken her last breath from the time that I had gone out and sat with her and gave her some Reiki to half an hour later coming back out thinking I should bring her into the house because I don't want her to pass alone. She had passed, but she had passed peacefully and on her own terms, very calm, very loving. It was the nicest passing of an animal I've ever had to do. It was very beautiful. Another example would be there could be behavioral shifts in the animal. So a highly sensitive animal is refusing physical contact entirely, whether if it's with the owners, people coming, anything like that. I know when we first got Kodiak, who I said was a Great Pyrenees crossed with the Turkish Boz and Kangal, she would not, after the owner left, she would not let me touch her. There was no possible way I could touch her. My husband was out of town. He went on a snowmobile trip. It was the first snowmobile trip he had gone on after we had our son. And it was his first solo snowmobile trip. And I stayed at home. And I was joking. I'm like, I'm going to get a dog while you're gone. He's like, no, you're not. And I must have known that Griffin was going to pass that year. And I wanted a yard dog. Like, don't ever want to go where we are without a yard dog. I just always want a yard dog. So he's like, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah. And on Kijiji, just Googled it. This lady literally was 15 minutes away and she had this dog and she brought this dog. Cute. Oh my gosh, huge, but cute puppy. She wanted $100 for this dog. And I was like, yeah, it's a Great Pyrenees. Sure. Read up about Kangals and Turkish Bosses. And I was like, yeah, seems like that's what we want for temperament and whatnot. But she left. I have a 9-month-old and a dog I can't touch. And she's fairly big at this point. She's 30 pounds already, I'd say. And I'm like, oh boy. And it's cold outside. And, I don't want her outside in the evening and the night. So I'm trying to bring her into the garage, trying to, take care of her in some capacity. She wouldn't let me. So I basically left her out in our fenced in area for the night, gave her some warmth so she wasn't cold because she had a barn at the other place. And here I'm like, well, you don't have a barn to go into. You don't have really anywhere to get out of the elements. And my dad came out the next day and he was able to touch her. So he kind of worked with her a little bit and she got a little bit better, but it took probably 3 months, 4 months before I could touch her. Males could touch her. My husband could touch her. My kid could touch her. No problem. But she would not let me touch her for whatever reason. So you can have an animal that is going to refuse physical contact entirely. You can do Reiki on that animal, obviously at a distance. And then over time, that animal is going to show an increase in appetite if they had a lower appetite, reduced reactivity, greater curiosity and engagement. And healing, when you're healing the animal, it doesn't require touch. It only really requires the respect. So even with Kodiak, I did do some Reiki treatments on her, just quietly off to the side, kind of when, I had my son napping in my arms and I was stuck, nap trapped. I would just send her a little bit of Reiki. Even now, I will have conversations with her if I'm stuck in the house and she's going massively insane, barking and barking and barking. I will energetically send her some energy and say, hey, it's okay. I thank you, but we're okay. Can you please quit barking now? Because at that point, I know that there's no one in the yard. I know it's probably just a deer running by that she's barking at. Maybe there's a coyote or something like that. But for the most part, I don't think the coyotes come in our yard because we have her. Obviously, her job is to take down coyotes. That's what she does. And then the other one with her too is we think that she got hit by a car. So we were gone on holidays. My stepson was out watching the house, him and his wife, and he had gone for the day. He came back and he still hadn't seen Kodiak. And he thought that was weird. He's like, she's always there to get fed in the morning. And she is. She's usually in the garage in the morning. And then she'll go out and about after that. But she wasn't there. And he's like, that's really weird. And so he left. And then he came home, I don't know, 6 hours later, as she said, and she still wasn't around. He's like, okay, that's really weird. Like, she should be here. So he started kind of looking for Kodiak, and him and his wife found her. She was up by our horse fence, but outside of our yard. And she does have a boundary marker for our yard. She knows where our yard is. And she was outside of that. So he goes to get her. She can't get up. He goes to get her, and her leg is dangling. So somehow this kid, oh my God, he's amazing. He hauls this over 100-pound dog. Like, she is heavy. I can barely carry her. He hauls her across our field. Like, he's hauling her over 300 meters, 300 yards, I guess it is. Like, a long way. Probably, I would say, like half a kilometer he's hauling her, right? So he brings her home, gets her in the truck. We try to figure out from the States, we're trying to figure out a place to take her to get her looked at and whatnot. Finally find a vet because it's Friday at 4:00. Like, there's not a lot of vets. We finally find a vet and they're taking her there. Meanwhile, I'm in the States and I'm giving her Reiki, giving her like calmness. I'm just like trying to calm her, just trying to be with her at this point in time, give her that loving, calming Reiki energy that I can do. Once my son got put to bed, I worked on her a lot more because I was in the motorhome with him. So I, at that point, just took some time and really just like worked with her. At this point, we knew that she was going to be in the vet overnight, that they were going to amputate her leg. They figured in the morning they were going to amputate it. Then they actually called and said that they were going to do it right then, like that night they were going to do it. So I was able to give her Reiki while she was going through this to help calm her. I mean, she's 8. We're not home. My stepson had to take her. Now, she does know my stepson very well and his wife and absolutely loves them. So that part is good. She then had be left in a vet where she's never been to a vet before. We've never taken her to the vet. And now I'm like, oh my goodness, this poor dog is in a kennel. Like, she's never been kenneled. Everything was just so new for her. So I was giving her Reiki just to help her stay calm, to help her heal. Same thing when we got home, giving her Reiki to help her leg heal so she was better. I mean, this is an outdoor dog that was stuck inside we could only keep her in for a week. That's as long as she let us. We did the best that we could. The Reiki was helping her heal. And that's the thing. Reiki doesn't cure a problem, but it can help their anxiety. It can help them heal from surgery or pain, which is no different than what Reiki does for adults, or not adults, but for humans as well. If we, as a human, go into the hospital and we had surgery done, Reiki helps with recovery time. Reiki helps to calm you if you are going into surgery and you're nervous before that. It helps. I know when my brother was passing, I was doing Reiki, not to cure him because I knew I could not take away his cancer. There was no way that I could. But I remember we were at the hospital that day. We got the news that he got cancer again. My parents and my husband were trying to figure out what to do, what was going on, what our kind of next sort of days were going to look like. My husband and I opted to go home. We had our 2 dogs at the time. So we went home, well, 3 because we had our outside. And we went home and we were going to go do the morning shift the next day. Like, we were going to go home and rest and be there for my brother the next day. My mom called later and was like, you need to come back. So we came back in. And as we were going back in, like by this time, I had already messaged my Reiki master. I was a level 1 at this time. I messaged my Reiki master and I said, look, I know I need level 2 to do distance Reiki, but how can I do distance Reiki on my brother? Like, this is what's going on. So she was like, it's intention. Just you don't need to be attuned to it. You can do it intentionally, and kind of explained how to do it. And I was like, okay, cool. And I did Reiki on my brother while we were going in. So I used a teddy bear because at that point I needed that. It was just my visual, and I'm using my teddy bear and I'm doing Reiki for my brother on our way in to help him go through everything that he was going through, to help calm him, to help him through everything, just to help the peace, right? That day in the hospital, I sat there and just gave him Reiki. He was there and I just kept my hands away and I was like, hey, can I give you Reiki? And he's like, okay. And I was just helping him stay calm and peaceful at that point. So even when we got to the hospital and we're all in the ICU with him, I was giving him Reiki at that point in time, just trying to help him at that point. Not sure what was going to happen. Not sure any of it. Not sure that I was going to lose him, but pretty much feeling like I was going to lose my brother at that point in time. And I was just giving him Reiki to help him through the transition, to help him be calm and peaceful because he's my younger brother. Of course, that's what I want to do. I don't want it to be hard on him. So we can do that too for our animals. Again, animals are not broken. They are not projects. They are our partners. Giving animals Reiki, giving animals and reading the animal Akashic Records, it helps to ask us as humans to slow down, but also for our animals. And it helps us to see who they are. It helps us to listen. It helps us to trust. We need to honor our animal souls, and then everything changes. So I'm hoping that your animal in your life feels seen, respected, and supported. And may you walk gently beside them. May healing unfold naturally. I thank you so, so very much for being here today. I truly appreciate it. If you liked what you heard, please share, like, follow, rate, review, all the things. If you want to get a hold of me, you can go to my website at elevatedsoulhealing.com. I do have animal Reiki on there, and I am going to put up animal Akashic Records reading as well. So it'll be on there, maybe not right away. If you are interested in an Akashic Records reading, just send me a quick little email and we can definitely figure that out for you. I'm on Instagram at Elevated Soul Healing and Elevated_pod. I'm also on Facebook as Elevated Soul Healing and Elevated. Thank you so very much for being here. I hope that this helps you with your animal, and please reach out and let's help your animal and you. Let's do some Reiki and an Akashic Records reading. Thank you so very much. Love you. Thank you.